Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of Not for Thought, a podcast channel designed for psychonauts and psychonautics. Today, I was thinking we would discuss my weekend, some DMT experiences that I had, and yeah, that's about all I got planned. Might not be the longest episode, but we'll see. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I've noticed that there's actually like a handful of people listening to each episode, which I think is super cool. I don't know if I've said this, but man, even if I have one other person listening to this podcast, that's enough for me to keep making videos. So, thank you to the people that are listening in to each episode. Thank you to Jesus Christ, to the subscribers, the 13 of you, I think. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Sorry, that was my coffee cup. Yeah, I got some coffee. I got some weed as per usual. And yeah, I'm gonna take a quick hit of weed. You should do the same, unless you're not into that. In that case, just hang out, man. Listen to my weekend. It was an interesting one. Yeah, give me just a second. All right, let's get started here. So, after my podcast on Saturday, I actually didn't end up smoking any DMT on Saturday, unfortunately. I just had a lot to do, I guess. And, I didn't really have much of an opportunity to sit down and dabble with some DMT. So, yeah, Saturday was fucking uneventful. But then I decided that I would probably do some DMT on Sunday. So yeah, I just don't want to pressure myself, man. And I wasn't feeling it on Saturday, so I just didn't do it. And like I said, I was also a little bit distracted with some other things, so yeah. I had planned on smoking DMT on Saturday, but it just didn't happen. So, anyways, fast forward to yesterday, Sunday, I decide that I'm gonna dabble with the spirit molecule, and it was pretty early in the morning when I first decided to smoke some DMT because I don't know, I was just feeling it. I was in a good headspace. I got some good sleep. I was happy that I didn't rush myself on Saturday. That I didn't try and force myself to smoke DMT. Because rushing it can lead to its own issues. So, anyways, it's, I think, like 10 a.m. I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably just watching YouTube. And, yeah, I decided to load up my DMT pipe. So, some suggestions I have for weighing out and dosing yourself with DMT. For one, you got to do it in milligrams. So, I would recommend just getting a scale on Amazon that goes down to 3 decimal points past zero. So, like 0.000. That'll get you a very accurate reading. Because if you only do 0.000, or I'm sorry, 0.00, so 2 decimal places past zero, you only get one. You don't get as accurate of a reading. Instead of milligrams, you do whatever is above that. Jesus Christ. I'm not good with my measurements, apparently. Anyways, so I would just recommend going to Amazon. It has way better options than any head shops that I've been to. It has way more accurate scales and better bang for your buck, I guess. Yeah, I bought a $15 scale off of Amazon that was, I think it's a jewelry scale. But nonetheless, it weighs up to like 200 grams. Or no, wait, it looks like it goes up to 100 grams and it goes down to 0.001 grams. So it has just an absolutely massive range for a scale. Like I said, it is supposed to be for jewelry. So, yeah. Anyways, the one that I got is called the Uniway TN series. It came with everything, man. It came with its own little scale, or I'm sorry, its own weight. So, like, you can make sure that your scale is reading accurately. It came with a little 50-gram weight, so you can put that on there and make sure that your scale is weighing accurately. Because sometimes you'll turn it on, and maybe it's on like an angle or whatever, and your scale isn't always going to read 100% accurate every time you turn it on. So you just got to make sure that it's weighing correctly, and the fact that it comes with the weight is pretty cool. Anyways, it also came with this little plate, I guess I would call it, that you can put on top of the scale, and then you can like weigh out your DMT onto that little plate, and then take that little plate and uh, dump it into whatever you're smoking out of. So yeah, that's my recommendation when it comes to weighing out your DMT. I would recommend just getting a scale off of Amazon, and one that goes to 0.001 milligrams, I guess. Anyways, because I bought, for example, a scale from a head shop for $30, and I know everywhere is different, especially when you're talking about different locations and then different head shops. Everywhere's got their own prices, but I spent $30 on a scale that only goes to 0.01 instead of 0.001. So not only did I spend double the price, but it didn't even go to the range that I wanted it to. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on weighing and where to get a scale. Head shops just don't seem to have ones that go down that far, which makes sense because nobody really weighs out that small of an amount unless you're doing like keef for weed. But even then, I don't know why you would do that instead of just sprinkling some on the top of your bowl or smoking a whole bowl of it. I don't know. It's been a while since I've smoked keef, man. Yeah, so TN series Uniway on Amazon is great. So I also got these little jars on Amazon. Again, fucking Amazon has everything. But I got these little glass vials almost. They're so fucking tiny, and they looked way bigger in the picture, but they came with these funnels that are like the smallest known to man, probably. The smallest funnels known to man. I mean, they're so fucking tiny, but they're really great for obviously filling up the jars with DMT, but also loading up an oil burner. It fits perfectly into that little hole onto the top, and then you can just sprinkle your weighed out DMT right into the funnel and it'll go right into your oil burner instead of like spilling it all over the place like I did for a while, because it's not easy getting it into that little hole. Even with the plate that the scale comes with, it has like a little lip to make it easier to pour stuff out of the plate, but still, even when I did that, I would spill it a lot. But anyways, so I weigh out 50 milligrams on this scale. I grab the funnel and I stick it into the hole, and the hole on my oil burner is just barely too small, and I fucking break the thing. It like just chips apiece off as I'm trying to shove the fucking funnel into the hole. And I just like had a little mini heart attack. But I was like, whatever. I bought two for this exact reason, because I'm a fucking stoner and I break shit all the time. Obviously not on purpose, usually. But, yeah, I'm a accident prone person, so I bought two because I knew that something was going to happen. And what do you know? It broke. So, and I mean, they're $5 oil burners usually. For most head shops and even online head shops, it's usually like $5 for an oil burner. So it wasn't a big loss. It's more of like just embarrassing going to a store and being like, yeah, let me get the oil burner. Like, I don't think anybody that I'm buying that from is thinking that, I'm just buying it for the look. I'm just using it for decoration or some shit. Everybody's got to know that. Well, they probably think I'm smoking meth. But anyways, so yeah, I weigh out 50. I try to get it into this first oil burner, and I had a second one. I grabbed that one, and the hole's way bigger on this one, so I was able to get the funnel in just fine, and I get my 50 milligrams of DMT into it. So yeah, I think it didn't take me too long to prepare myself for this one, for this DMT trip, because I was much more calm about it. I'm more experienced with it. I had done some on Friday. I was fairly prepared mentally all around. So yeah, I think I had Iron Maiden playing a live concert. And just really quick side note, I almost wouldn't recommend playing music that you really like, because it becomes very distracting. Like, I've noticed that I'll have times where the music is keeping me grounded towards myself, because I enjoy the music that I'm listening to, and I don't know. Anyways, so I would try sticking to something that you haven't heard a whole lot and is new, because I think it'll just put you into your trip a little bit more. I think you'll be a little bit more in the zone. Anyways, so I had Iron Maiden playing a live concert, and yeah, I took a hit. So I would recommend holding the pipe like half a thumb's width away, holding the lighter half a thumb's width below the oil burner, about. Like, you don't want to have it right on the oil burner, but you want to have it pretty close, because if you have it too far away, it's not gonna melt the DMT and vape it or whatever it's doing. Instead, it's just gonna kind of slowly smoke it. Anyways, so you want to find that sweet spot. You want to be close to the pipe, but you don't want to be too close to where you're just burning it. So anyways, you also want to rotate the pipe. You want to move the liquid, the DMT liquid, around. It'll just help to vaporize it a little bit better. But anyways, so I'm lighting it, I'm moving it around. It starts to get cloudier in the bulb part of the oil burner, and that's when you go in for a hit. You keep the lighter underneath it, and you keep moving it. Take a big fat rip. That's what I did. And hold that in as best you can. I would recommend your first hit just being as hard and as big of a hit as you can get, because if you can't keep going, or you don't keep going, you'll still probably have a pretty good experience. You won't have a breakthrough, but it'll still be something notable. Anyways, so I take that first hit, and just immediately my whole mouth is covered in that DMT taste. It's such a bizarre taste, man. But anyways, immediately my mouth is coated in it, and I blow out the smoke, which I held it in for so long that I didn't really see any smoke. But anyways, I immediately go in for the second hit, and I'm going. I take the puff, and it hurt so bad. It hurt way more than the first hit did. The first hit, I didn't even really feel. Like, I felt the DMT, but I didn't feel it in my lungs, you know? Like, it didn't feel like I took a hit of something in my lungs physically. So, anyways, the second hit, though, I mean, fucking immediately, even before I'm blowing it out, it feels just like the worst, harshest dab I've ever taken. I had to immediately blow the smoke out because it was so harsh. And this is where I fucked up, man. I was like, you know what? That hurt like hell. I'm calling it good. And I set my pipe down in my windowsill and I lay back. And immediately I was like, fuck. As I'm laying back, I'm like, I should have taken a third hit. I could have easily done it. I could have done that third hit, man. And I might not have had a breakthrough if I did take that third hit because I didn't hold in that second hit very well. But anyways, fucking trash can. Give me a minute. Fuck, sorry about that, guys. That's the second podcast I've had the stupid trash truck playing in the background. I don't remember exactly where I was at. But, so, I lay down and close my eyes, of course. And I just feel a little defeated because I knew I should have taken another hit. But I was like, you know what? Might as well get the most out of the experience that I can. So, yeah, I just lay back and try and absorb everything that I can, which is so hard to do with DMT because it's so hard to remember things and bring things back with you. But anyways, so yeah, just, I don't know. The visuals themselves were pretty intense, but nothing too remarkable. I just remember seeing like these over layers. I would just see like a sheet of white, and then I would see like this sheet of red, and then I would see like a sheet of orange, and like all these colors just overlapping within them, and it was like my vision would just be coated in this white or red or whatever. Anyways, it wasn't too crazy or anything, but yeah. So, I don't know, I come out of it, and my cat's just like watching over me. It was kind of strange, actually. It was like he knew that I was doing a DMT trip or something. It was bizarre. Anyways, I really couldn't get much from this experience, if I'm being entirely honest. You know, I wanted some sort of spiritual guidance, and that's really all I was looking for. I wasn't looking for anything specific, you know, or like deeply meaningful. I was just looking for a spiritual experience, and I didn't even really get that. So, yeah, it was an underwhelming experience for what honestly probably should have been really fucking intense. I mean, I took two very, very big hits of DMT, and it just wasn't that remarkable still. And maybe that's because I'm still just searching for that breakthrough moment. And man, when I finally do, that's going to be a good podcast. Yeah, because we'll get into later in the day. I ended up smoking some more DMT. So, you know, again, I was just looking for some spiritual guidance, just trying to relax my mind. And yeah, I saw that there was still some DMT left in the oil burner. So, really quick, my view on the oil burner has entirely changed, just in case anybody's curious. Because, you know, I feel like a lot of people look at the oil burner and see it as a meth pipe. And after smoking DMT with it, I see it in a much different way. Obviously, if I saw somebody take a hit of meth out of it, my views would go right back to what they were. But as of now, I see my DMT pipe as this pipe, this tool to reach to the gods, quote unquote. I see it as a tool for spiritual journeys. I don't see it as this decrepit, fucked up piece of drug paraphernalia. I guess. I see it much more as a tool, as a ritualistic and spiritual tool rather than a fucking meth pipe. Anyways, so I see that there's still some DMT and I decide I'm going to take some more hits. And I take one hit. Again, I try and make that first one usually a pretty fat hit. And I take that first hit and everything just gets like quiet. I've heard some people describe it as like all the air gets sucked out of the room, or when your ears pop, like when you're driving and you go to different pressure zones and all of a sudden your hearing like gets clouded kind of. It's almost like that. And yes, that's like usually the first hit. And you'll see visuals a little bit, things will be moving. You'll see like kind of colors and nothing too crazy. And then I take the second hit, and I think the same kind of thing happened, you know, where it was like such a harsh hit that I just couldn't quite hold it in for very long. Anyways, and that hit, I feel like the visuals for me usually get a little bit more intense. The open-eyed visuals get a little bit more intense. And yeah, depending on my situation mentally and physically, this is where things can kind of vary, I feel like. Uh, but anyways, I'm rambling. So I lay back. Oh, I was out of DMT at this point, I should say, because I might have taken another hit if there was more DMT in the pipe, but I had finished it off at this point. Because, like I said, I was just smoking what was kind of left from the previous session. So, yeah, I had a YouTube video playing, and I felt my body kind of starting to drift away. Like I said, it was like the sound of the video got much quieter. It was really like everything just got quieter, like the air was sucked out of the room. And I could kind of feel myself starting to drift away, but then I feel like I was kind of drawn back to myself. But the visuals were pretty crazy this time. I mean, I was seeing like all sorts of shapes that I'd never seen before, and seeing colors that were fucking remarkable. And yeah, it was an interesting visual experience. But then right at the end of the trip, I just got hit with like so much negativity out of fucking nowhere. I don't know what it was, man. I think maybe I was just still connected to my body too much, and I feel like maybe that was the DMT telling me like, dude, let go. Let go entirely, you know? And I guess that's what's holding me back, man, from having a breakthrough, is that true disconnection from your body and from yourself. Maybe I'm still just trying to prepare myself for that, man. It still sounds a bit intimidating. I want to experience it so fucking bad. I wouldn't be smoking DMT if I didn't want to experience something like that. But I don't know, man. It's intimidating, and hopefully I'll get there soon. I'm hoping, maybe this coming weekend. We'll see. I keep hyping myself up for stuff that might not happen. That's another thing, is that you shouldn't have expectations for your trips. Go into it empty-minded. Don't be like, I have to have a breakthrough this time, because in my experience, that doesn't happen when you do think like that. Just go into it positive and optimistic, but don't set expectations. Do what you want. Like, obviously, this is all opinionated when it comes to psychedelics, and especially the things that I say. I try to reiterate that as much as possible, because everybody has their own opinions, and you can have your own insights on different things. But anyways, yeah, just try not to set too many expectations, because in my experience, when I do, it kind of makes the experience less enjoyable, because either my expectations were set too high, or yeah, well, that's really it. Anyways, yeah, it was pretty interesting day yesterday smoking those 2 times, and I wish I would have had a breakthrough, but I know that I'll get there. I have so much DMT. I barely went through anything, and I smoked quite a bit, and that's where an oil burner really helps out, because you truly get as much as you can out of your DMT when you do it through the oil burner. That's why I was able to have 2 smoke sessions on one uh, loading, only loading the bowl once. I was able to smoke it in 2 different sessions. And both times were pretty intense. I do feel like I should have just combined those 2 into one and had a breakthrough. But like I said, that first smoke session with DMT, I was trying to have a spiritual experience, but I wasn't necessarily going for a breakthrough, and that kind of held me back, because as soon as I took that second hit, I felt like it was too much, but then like 2 seconds later, I wanted more. I wanted another hit. And anyways, yeah, DMT is an interesting drug, man. I would definitely recommend trying it if you're curious, because it's pretty crazy. I feel like every time I do it, it's a different experience. But if you do have some negativity wash over you in the middle of a trip, just kind of let it go. I know that can be easier said than done, but just let it flow away. Negative thoughts and emotions are natural, I think, especially with such an incredibly intense drug. It's bound to happen sooner or later, and when it does, you just gotta kind of let it go, let it wash through you, and move on to further experiences in the trip, I guess. And yeah, don't try to dwell on those negative moments, because I've had quite a few so far. I mean, not really. I've had lots of euphoric moments, but then I've had a couple of moments at the end of trips where it's like I'm starting to come out of it, and it's like all of my negative and fears and all that crap of your daily lives, of my daily life, was just kind of reminded as I came out of the trip, out of the second time that I smoked DMT yesterday. But I did just try and let it go, and I think it worked somewhat, but anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. I have more content to come. I don't think I'll have a whole lot to talk about with DMT until next weekend, but we'll see. You never know. Only because, I'm constantly coming across new things to talk about. But I have some plans for this week. I'm going to try out some different things with the channel. I'm thinking, there's other psychedelics out there, so I'm seeing if people are going to be interested in some other topics about LSD and mushrooms and whatever else I come across, because I would like to try maybe mescaline or peyote, which I know are like the same thing. Mescaline is in peyote, but I wouldn't necessarily go for I'm just rambling on. I should shut the fuck up. Thanks for listening, guys. It's been Not for Thought. Have a nice day.